As the discussions on the Electoral Amendment Act moves to Lagos, President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio, says the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, must ensure that future elections are devoid of controversies. Akpabio gave the hint in a remark on Wednesday after a debate on the repeal and reenactment of the Electoral Act during plenary. Speaking in support of the Senate President's stance, Senator Seriake Dickson insisted that the burden of proof that an election was credible should be placed on INEC and not on the political parties and their candidates.
Secondly, our political parties are the biggest challenge to our democracy. We have to look for a way by which we can introduce some regulation and control on their behavior or undemocratic behavior. The burden of proof in electoral matters, Mr. President, must shift to INEC. That is where it rightly and properly belongs. We should not subject it to the normal evidential rule that says he who alleges must prove. How can you prove something you don't even know?
On his part, Senator Adams Oshiomhole stressed the need for politicians to stop aiding and abetting young people from carrying out electoral violence.
First, we should resolve, each and every one of us, and also collectively, that as elected persons, we as senators shall not, directly or indirectly, secretly or openly, aid and abet unemployed or semi-employed people and arm them to disrupt election. If we reform our character, this problem is 90% solved. In Edo State, sir, I launched one man, one vote, one woman, one vote. At the end of the day, and as of today, it is now possible to do election without cutting dead bodies. It wasn't so before, because we convinced everybody that there is no merit in taking election or conducting election as if it is a state of war.
The lawmakers unanimously agreed to achieve credible elections, saying INEC must employ the use of technology in line with global best practices.
To move fast to make sure that all these technologies, as we are voting, people are reporting back. People are having back the results, so that electronic voting, so nobody will complain. Because APC will not complain, PDP will not complain, Labour Party will not complain. So everybody will be on equal basis. My colleagues, you people should be serious to make sure we come together and be serious about this thing. Because not saying tomorrow that a dominant party have done this or that. This is an opportunity for all of us in these chambers. Don't shy away. The opposition mostly, this is the time to put everything we need in this electoral version of the.
We are in a haste to pass the Electoral Act, and we shot ourselves in the foot by removing senators, members of the House of Representatives, governors, and the deputy governors, state assemblies, elected officials from being members of the delegates. I think it was a very important omission, and we should try as much as possible to bring all elected members into the delegate list.
Because after this, public hearing will be held, and Nigerians will now from today should prepare to come before the committee during the public hearing to make their contributions and their input, so that at the end of it, we'll have a document or a law that will guide the election, ensure transparency, accountability, so that the next election will truly reflect the feelings or the choice of the people of Nigeria.
After extensive debates, the 2025 electoral bill was passed for second reading, moving closer to repealing and replacing the current Electoral Act of 2022.
INEC sometimes believes strongly that it doesn't have much responsibilities when it comes to electoral matters because it is assumed that whatever INEC does is perfect. So this time around, the INEC must be held responsible because they are the ones that have the electoral materials and they are the ones that are in charge of logistics and all. So we must give them some responsibilities in court to prove that yes, indeed, their actions were legal and their actions were in tandem with the will of the people. And then I must also commend Nigeria for improvements in the Electoral Act, that in Africa, we're even the first to submit to presidential electoral victory even before the announcement of the final elections. And if other countries follow suit, then the elections in Africa would have been fantastic. But we have had improvements upon improvements, but we think we are not yet there. It's not yet perfect, and therefore we'll do our best to ensure that we craft the kind of amendments that will help us to almost get to the El Dorado.
With the second reading now passed, the bill will proceed to the committee stage for further scrutiny.
A bill for an act to repeal the Electoral Act number 13 of 2022 and enact the Electoral Act 2025 to regulate the conduct of federal, state, and area councils in the Federal Capital Territory elections and for related matters 2025, second reading taken. This bill is now committed to the Committee on Electoral Matters to report back to the Senate within 2 weeks.